In how many ways you can create a report? How many ways we have?
CSV, Excel.
How to create a report in HTML? What are the various options we have seen in the last class? In the last class, we have completed ODS. ODS means output delivery system. By using ODS concept, we can export our report in HTML, PDF, Word document, Excel, CSV, XML, whatever the file format you want to, you can export that. And whenever you want to submit any report in that way, before the sorting of your report, we should have ODS. If you want to submit an HTML, ODS space HTML file is equal to the location where you want to export. Or you should write a body is equal to where do you want to export, you should write that file. And then at the end of all our program, we should do one more time ODS HTML close. So whatever you have written between the two ODS statements, that information that will go onto the location that you have been specified as an HTML file. But when you're submitting in HTML, we can write options like file is equal to, contents is equal to, page is equal to, frame is equal to, and I told you can also apply the styles. And after that, we can also do that one in a PDF file, Word document, CSV, Excel. You know, when you're submitting an Excel file, do you remember what is that keyword you should write? Tag sets.excelxp. Tag sets.excelxp is the keyword that we should use, to export the information as an Excel sheet. I told you with that we have completed. What we have completed?
Basis.
Basis. We have done with the basis. Remember in the starting classes, we started with the data step. Tell me why we read the data step, anybody? What the purpose of data step? Data access and to do the data access and data management, we use data step, right? And remember what we have discussed? First of all, we have seen how to create a library. Do you know how many ways you can create a user-defined library? And how many types of user-defined libraries that we have?
2 methods.
How many types of user-defined libraries? What are those?
GUI method, non-GUI method.
No. Permanent user, temporary user-defined libraries, permanent user-defined libraries. How many ways you can create a temporary user-defined library? How many ways you can create?
By using a libname. Sorry. By using
How to create by using a libname method?
libname library.
Library libname, library reference name, then
Path of the
path of the folder. Okay, and after that we have seen 10 different ways how to create, ways to create SAS data set. And then we discussed about the data statement. Tell me why we read the data statement, anybody?
To create data, to
create?
data name.
To give a data set name, isn't it? Data. If you give one data set name, we'll get one data set. If you have 2 names, so what will happen now? What will happen if it will create 2 data sets? Apart from the data set, what we do in the data statement? In the data statement, what options that you can write? Keep is equal to. You can write a drop is equal to. You can write a rename is equal to. You can write a where is equal to. We can write a label is equal to. Label is equal to. We can write a password is equal to. Replace is equal to. By default we have yes. You can specify replace is equal to no.
View is equal to.
You can create a PGM. PGM is equal to program name, and then you can write a view is equal to. And you can also write the no list option. No list option.
Underscore null underscore.
And then we have discussed an infile statement. Why we read the infile statement? When we read the infile statement?
To read the
What is outside data? What do you mean by outside the data?
external source data.
What about the in-stream data?
To read the
When we have in-stream data, you will write the data lines. When we have a text file data, you should write the path of that one. And apart from that, in full statement, apart from that, path or a data lines, what are the other things that we write? By default, if you have any space, that is okay. Otherwise, you should write the DSD, and you can write the DLM is equal to whatever the special character that we have, we should write it. And then we have seen DLM str. DLM str is equal to a string as the delimiter. And then we have seen
first OBS.
First OBS. Why only few people are talking? Why not others? DLM str is equal to, if you have a string as a delimiter, you should write that one. But we're writing a DLM str, but if you have a different cases, we can write the DLMS OPT is equal to, ignore the case. And we can also write first OBS is equal to option, and then you can write OBS is equal to by default, first OBS is equal to, we are going to have a 1, OBS is equal to by default, we are going to have a max. And I told you, by default, we are going to have an option called, flower. If you want to stop the flower flower action, we should use missover. And if you want to stop the program, you can write the stop over. And if you want to get only few values, you can write the scan over. And then we have seen some automatic variables called end is equal to, and we have seen automatic variable called file name is equal to, and we have seen automatic variable called column is equal to, we have seen length is equal to, and we have seen line is equal to. And also we have seen how to write multiple in-file statements. When we have a data in multiple text files, how to write a multiple in-file statement also we have seen. And then instead of writing in a path, you can also write the file name, file reference name, also we can write it. And then we discuss about input statement. What is the purpose of input statement?
To read the
Variable names.
Data.
Not to read, to specify the variable names.
It requires when you have data in the string.
No. So in the input statement, it depends, we are going to write the variable names, and if it is in a character value, we specify the dollar symbol, and then this is how we can write the variable name. And I told you, it depends upon the data, how we have the data, we can use the different types of input statement. What are the input statement we have discussed, remember? We have seen column input statement, we have seen column input statement, and then we have seen list input method. In the list input method, we have seen two different types. One is simple list method, and then advanced. In the advanced input method, we have seen how to use dollar symbol when we have a character data, and then we have seen ampersand symbol, then we have seen the colon symbol, and then we have seen plus symbol, then we have seen title symbol, then we have seen add symbol, then we have seen forward slash symbol, and then we have seen multiple input statements. And after that, we have seen formatted input method. When we have aligned data, we can use a formatted input method. And then we have seen named input method. And then we have seen null input method. And finally, we have seen mixed input method. And after that, we have seen input specifications. We have seen input specifications. In that, we have seen single trailing method, and we have seen double trailing method. And then after that, we have seen data lengths. In the data lengths, we are going to have two types of statements. One is the data lengths, another one is the data length 4. But I told you when you write a data length 4, you should end your program with 4 semicolons. And then we have seen run statement. Okay, and after that, we have seen the backend process. In the backend process, remember what we have discussed?
PDV.
PDV.
We have discussed about the compilation phase. We have discussed compilation phase, and we have discussed execution phase. I told you in the compilation phase, we are going to have 3 important steps. One is the input buffer. Then we are going to have a descriptor area where the metadata will be get saved. Isn't it? Metadata will be get saved. And then we have discussed PDV. What is the full form of PDV? Program data vector.
Program data vector.
In the PDV, we discuss about the 2 important variables, underscore n underscore, underscore r underscore. And after that, we have discussed execution phase. And then finally, we have discussed, we have discussed the data underscore null underscore, and we have discussed a file statement, and we have discussed a put statement. By using all the 3, how to do the null reporting also, we have discussed it. Isn't it? And then after that, we have discussed variable attributes. What are the variable attributes that we have? We discussed, we have discussed a variable name, and then we have discussed a variable label. We have discussed a variable data type. We have discussed a variable length, and we have discussed variable label, and then we have discussed we have discussed about the informat, and we have discussed about the format. And when you're discussing about the informat and formats, remember, we have discussed about the character informats and, character informats and character formats. Then we have discussed numerical information and numerical formats. Then we discussed, date, time informats, informats and formats. And then we discussed, and then even we discussed about how the date values, the time values, the date and time values will be saved in SAS. And then finally, we discussed user-defined informats and formats, and how to create user-defined and formats by using proc format statement.
Proc.
I told you in the proc format statement, what we use in value statement. We use in value statement to create in format. We use a value statement and picture statement to create user defined formats. And then after that, we have discussed about attribute statement. Instead of using separate length, label, information, and format, I told you can do everything in one statement. That is called an attribute statement. And then we started discussing about the SAS statement. In the SAS statements, what we have discussed, remember? We have discussed a keep statement, we have discussed a drop statement, we have discussed the rename statement, and then we have discussed the waste statement. Then we have seen differences between statements and options. What is the difference between a statement and option?
Statements
Statements
before building.
Statements?
Works before building.
Very good.
Options work after
options
building.
work after building.
And if you have
Statements works in only data step, options works in both.
Works both in data
Statements
step
works
and
after PDV.
statement works before PDV, options works after PDV. So statements are more efficient. And then I told you statements works only in data step, but options works both in data step and proc step. But where statement works both in data step and proc step. Okay. And then we discussed about, again, one more time, we discussed about the length statement, we discussed the label statement, we discussed the sum statement, we discussed the return statement, and then we discussed the output, then we discussed the stop statement, and then, yes, so these are the statements we have discussed. And of course, we have discussed the delete statement, and we have discussed the remove statement. And then after that, we discussed about the conditional statement. In the conditional statement, we started discussing about the if conditional. In the if conditional, we have seen if statement, and then we have seen if then statement, and then we have seen if then else statement, and then we have seen if then delete, and we have seen if then remove, and then we have seen, if then else output, and then we have seen if then do. And after that, we started discussing about the where statement. And I told you when we're discussing about the where statement, we need to discuss about the operators. What are the operators that we have discussed? Remember, we have discussed arithmetic operators. Then we have discussed about the comparison operators. Comparison operators. Then we have discussed about the logical operators. And then we have discussed, other operators. And I told you after that, we have discussed where only operators. And after that, we have discussed the difference between if and where. If works only data step, where works both in data step and proc step. If statement works with only arithmetic, comparison, logical, and other operators, but where work with arithmetic, comparison, logical, other, and where expressions also. And then after that, we discuss about the do loops, and then we started discussing about combining data sets. In the combining data sets, we discuss about the concatenation. And then we discussed the interleaving. And when we are discussing about the interleaving, we have discussed the most important concept for start variable, and we have discussed the most important last start variable. And then we started discussing about the merge, and in the merge, we have discussed the two types of merge. Then we have seen, 7 different types of joins. Full join, inner join, left join, right join, left outer, full, right outer, full outer joins. And then we discussed about the update, and then we discussed about modify. And while we're discussing about this, we discussed difference between merge and update, difference between update and modify, and difference between modify and set also we discussed. And then we discuss about functions. And in the functions, what we have discussed, we discuss about the character functions, and we discuss about the numerical functions, and we have discussed date, time, daytime. Can you tell me a few character important functions? We discuss about the scan, we discuss about the cat family, we discuss about the translate, we discuss about the tran word, and we discuss about index family functions. We discuss about concatenation functions. Sorry, we discuss about a very important compress function. We discuss about the strip function. We discuss about the trim functions
Same is
and the length function, length family, lengthen.
Rank.
And then we discuss about the numerical functions. In the numerical functions, we have seen decimal handling function like a seal, and then we discuss about the floor, and then we discussed the round function, and we have seen the sum function, and we have seen mean function, and we have seen what do you call a mean function, max function, variance function, square root function, and we have seen so many things, isn't it?
NMS.
And then in the date and time functions, we have seen two very important functions. One is intck, and then we have seen intnx. Can somebody tell me what the difference between intck and intnx?
INTCK rounds to next highest.
So intck function returns the difference between two dates or two times in number of days, months, weeks, or number of hours, minutes, seconds by interval boundaries it has been crossed. Okay. And what is intnx function will do?
Increments or decrements the data.
Increments or decrements the days, hours, or minutes.
Yes, it increments or decrements given date value or a time value by number of days, weeks, months, hours, or seconds, minutes, or hours. Isn't it? Then. And we have seen other functions like, what are the other functions that we have seen?
Holiday,
Holiday, year diff.
wire,
We have seen today of, date of, time of, day, time of, day, month, week, weekday, year, MDY, DHMS, HMS, date part, time part. We have seen those functions, isn't it? Then after that, what we have seen, and two important, very important functions we have seen: input and put function. What is the use of input and put function?
Yes, sir.
So if you want to convert the calc data into numerical data, we should use input, and again numerical data into calc data put function. And then we started discussing about procs. Tell me, what are the proc steps we have seen? We have seen proc copy. What is the use of proc copy?
copies as files from one library to another.
Very good. If you want to copy files from one library to another file library, we use the proc copy. Then what is the use of proc delete? To delete the data sets. What is the use of proc contents? What the proc contents can do?
Information, view the content.
Contents information, metadata. Very good. It brings metadata information. And then we have seen proc append. What the proc append will do? It does the same thing of concatenation.
That's concatenation.
Concatenation. And then what is that the proc transpose will do?
Transpose a numerical
Change observation to
Variables into observations, observations into
observation to variables.
And we have seen proc compare. What is the proc compare will do?
To
It
compare
compares
the
two data sets. And then we have seen proc import again one more time. What the proc import will do? It imports Excel sheets, CSV files, and text files. And we have seen proc export. It exports data sets into Excel sheets, CSV files, MS Access files, and text files. And then we have seen yes. ఎక్కడ మిస్ అవుతుంది ఏం డేటా సెట్ ఎక్స్పోర్ట్ చేశారు ఏ డేటా సెట్ ఎక్స్పోర్ట్ చేశారు క్లాస్ బ్లడ్ క్లాసా ఎక్కడ చేశారు సర్వర్లో చేశారా ఎందుకు వస్తుంది అదే చెప్పండి. proc export data is equal to SAS help dot class. Next ఏం రాయాలి? out file is equal to I'm going on to my desktop. I want to get the path to go to any text file. Shift right click, copy as path. Now go to the program and paste the path. But I want to have it as an. Do you want to have CSV file, right? Class dot to CSV. Then DBMS is equal to
CSV.
already
Yes.
desktop is unte kanaka replace రాయాలి. Now select the program and execute the program. Now on our desktop. Can you see? Keep option you can edit option anywhere, right? Both data sets and proc step. If you want to edit keep option, if you want to, right? You can edit the proc option. Give me 1 minute. If you want to export only a few variables, what we should write? Either should hit the keep option or drop option. It's up to you. Okay. Then we have seen proc sort procedure. What is the use of proc sort procedure?
To arrange the data set
To arrange the data set observations. So not only that one, what we can do?
to remove duplicate observations.
According to the value of variables in the by statements.
Guys, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
So, proc sort procedure not only to rearranges observations, it will delete the duplicate observations. But what are the options that we use to delete the observations?
No do.
Key not
No do.
No key.
What is the difference between no loop and no loop?
No do key will create observations as a duplicate observation, maybe depending upon the bivariable values.
Okay. And what no loop will do?
No do key will create entire observations as a duplicate observation. The next entire bivariable value is coming for the next
Not entire. If the entire observation is duplicate, then we'll delete the duplicate observation. So, what are the use of proc options?
See the global.
Very good. To understand, to see the global options. Right? Then what is the use of proc format?
Create user-defined formats.
to create user
Create user-defined information.
formats.
What is the use of proc rank? To compute the ranks for numerical variables. What is the use of proc datasets?
multi-utility procedure. You can write a total copy statement, delete statement in one procedure.
Very good. And then we discussed about the proc print. What the proc print will do?
To print sum of summarize the data set.
Proc print can print only the reports, but the proc report or along with the reporting, it can also do the summary chart section. And then what the proc means will do?
Voice is not clear, sir.
Descriptive statistics.
Statistics. What are the default statistics that you will get when you use the proc means?
N is standard deviation.
5 default.
N mean, standard deviation, minimum and maximum. Then what the difference between proc means and proc summary?
By default, proc summary will not give
Output.
give the output. If you want the output, we can write a print option,
Print option.
and by default, var option, var statement also.
What the proc frequency will do?
Use the
It gives
It gives the counts and percentages
Counts
for all
and-
the variables. What the proc tablet will do?
it will create a table.
It will print the tables up to 3-dimensional. It will do what proc means and proc frequency is done, but it will print the report up to 3-dimensional. What are the 3 dimensions that we will get? What are the 3 dimensions? What are the 3 dimensions? Column dimension, row dimension, page
Page
dimension.
dimension.
Then what the proc univariate will do?
creates the tables.
It can do what proc means can do. Apart from the proc means, it can print, it can do the normality. It can, it can produce high resolution graphs, and it can print the extreme of the 5 extreme lowest and 5 extreme highest observations. And then we started discussing about the proc G charter, and then we have done the proc G plotter, and then finally we have done the LOLIS, output delivery system. This is what we have seen in the last class. And I told you this is the end of our data step. Only one thing we didn't discuss in the data step is the arrays. Okay. I will discuss that one during advanced as classes. Now this is the end of the base as. Now in the next class we are going to start with the macros, advanced as first macros, and then we will go with the proc SQL. Okay. So in the macros, if you want to become a good macro programmer, you should have a strong foundation. You should have a strong understanding of the bases. If you are good at bases, macros is going to be very, very easy. Otherwise, you are going to feel macros very difficult. And by next class, please brush up all your bases one more time, revise, and brush up your bases. So in the next class, we are going to start with the macros. Clear, everybody? And until you get a job, every day you have to practice your bases. Every day, half an hour you should practice the functions, half an hour data step, half an hour combined data sets, and half an hour we should any one procedure from utility, one procedure from the reporting, and we should read another at least one statement in one data set. So that is how we should balance. If you're not balancing, if you're doing like if you're practicing only advances, you'll forget about the bases. And if you're practicing only data step, you'll forget about the proc step. So you should be very careful. You should revise all the topics equally. Okay? So
Okay.
in tomorrow's class, we'll start with the macros. Please revise all the important concepts of bases. Because macros is not something different. We apply macros only on the bases. Don't think macros are different, the bases is different. No, we apply macros on bases. Okay? So if you're good at bases, automatically you're going to be good at macros. Okay. I'm going to stop this class for here today. We'll continue in tomorrow's class. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
See you tomorrow.